Hello, friends. We often hear that we are living in a technological age or an age of artificial intelligence. But I would suggest something slightly different. We are living in an algorithmic society, and the distinction matters. I recently noticed that I no longer argue with GPS. Years ago, I would insist I know a better way. Now, even when I suspect it is wrong, I obey. Somewhere along the line, convenience quietly replaced judgment. We're no longer simply users of technology. Increasingly, we are participants in an algorithmic ecosystem that shapes our perception, our opportunities, even our sense of identity. The music we discover, the news we encounter, the routes we drive, the people we meet, the jobs we see, and sometimes even the medical care we receive are mediated by algorithmic decision systems. This is not merely about convenience, it is about how reality itself reaches us. This brings to mind the 18th century philosopher Immanuel Kant. Kant argued that human beings never encounter reality directly. What we experience as reality is always filtered through cognitive structures, conceptual lenses that shape perception before conscious thought even begins. We never access the world as it is in itself. We encounter it through interpretive frameworks that make experience possible but also limited. If Kant were alive today, I suspect he would be fascinated and perhaps troubled by algorithms. Because algorithms now function as additional lenses layered onto our already mediated perception. Think about that. They curate, rank, prioritize, predict, and filter. Reality increasingly arrives pre-interpreted. And here is where Herbert Marcuse enters the conversation, at least for me. In a surprisingly contemporary way, Marcuse matters today just as he did in the 60s. Marcuse warned about what he called one-dimensional thinking in advanced technological societies, when efficiency, optimization, and instrumental rationality become dominant values. Critical reflection can quietly recede. We begin to mistake what is efficient for what is good, what is measurable for what is meaningful. Algorithms, by design, favor efficiency. Who would argue with that? They optimize engagement, predict behavior, streamline decisions, but the risk is very subtle. We may feel empowered while our intellectual horizons narrow. Convenience can become a soft form of conformity. The danger is not that machines become human. The danger is that humans begin to live increasingly machine-like lives, guided by prediction rather than reflection. I'm also thinking of Michel Foucault, who offered another lens. For Foucault, knowledge and power are inseparable. So we have to think about power dynamics here. The systems that organize knowledge simultaneously organize social possibilities. Algorithms do not simply reflect reality, they participate in governing it. They determine visibility, prioritize voices, rank credibility, and structure access to opportunity. Power today often operates not through overt force, but through informational architecture. The sorting happens quietly, almost invisibly, and this is how ideology often operates. Media theory anticipated some of this long ago, and here I am thinking of Marshall McLuhan. He reminded us that media are not neutral channels, and he was always right about these things. They reshape perception itself. Every medium alters the scale, pace, and pattern of human interaction. algorithmic media go further. They do not simply transmit information, they anticipate it, personalize it, sometimes even preempt it. The medium is no longer just a message, the medium increasingly predicts the message. This raises a deeper philosophical question, at least for me. Can we see beyond these layers of mediation? Can we penetrate reality more fully, or at least become more aware of the filters shaping our perception? Eastern philosophical traditions offer interesting insights here. Buddhist and Taoist thought, for example, emphasize the provisional nature of perception. They encourage practices of mindfulness intended to loosen rigid conceptual frameworks. The goal is not to eliminate mediation entirely, which may be impossible, but to become aware of it, to cultivate a kind of epistemic humility. Even quantum physics, which is all the rage these days, though a very different domain, unsettles classical assumptions about observation. What does quantum physics remind us of? It reminds us that the observer and the observed are not neatly separable. Reality is relational, dynamic, resistant to simple objectification. Certainty gives way to probability, observation to participation. Algorithms complicate this landscape even further. They can expand access to knowledge, connect communities, and support innovation. I'm not arguing for technological rejection. That would be both unrealistic and intellectually shallow. The question is not whether technology is good or bad. The question is whether we remain conscious participants in shaping it, or whether we drift into passive adaptation. Because algorithms can also narrow perception. They can reinforce preference loops, amplify biases embedded in data, and subtly guide behavior through personalization. Instead of penetrating reality more deeply, we may circulate within increasingly customized versions of it, informational echo chambers tailored to our predicted desires. And of course, I'm sure many of you have experienced this. This is why the humanities remain essential, perhaps more essential than ever. Philosophy, literature, history, media studies, cultural analysis, these disciplines cultivate critical reflection. They help us ask not only how systems work, but why they exist in the first place, whom they benefit, and what alternative futures might look like. Humanizing AI is not merely a technical challenge, it is a cultural, ethical, and philosophical project. It requires interdisciplinary dialogue, democratic oversight, and a commitment to social justice. It requires us to resist technological determinism, the idea that whatever can be built inevitably should be built. And perhaps most importantly, it requires cultivating awareness. Awareness of the lenses through which we see, awareness of how power operates through information systems. Power tends to operate through information systems in the 21st century. Awareness of our own participation in shaping these systems is absolutely essential if we choose to try to penetrate beyond the surface reality that is given to us vis-a-vis algorithms. Because despite the scale of technological transformation, agency has not disappeared. It has become more complex, more distributed, sometimes harder to perceive, but it remains. Algorithms are designed by humans. Data reflects social histories. Technologies embody values. Whether consciously acknowledged or not, that is the case. So I leave you with a reflection rather than a conclusion. The challenge of an algorithmic society is not simply technological literacy. It is philosophical literacy, ethical literacy, cultural literacy. It is the ability to pause, reflect, and ask deeper questions about the systems shaping our lives. We may never fully remove the goggles through which we see reality. Kant was probably right about that. But we can become more aware of them. And sometimes that awareness alone opens a space for freedom, creativity, and other humane futures. The question then is not whether algorithms will shape society, they already do. The question is whether we remain thoughtful participants in shaping them back. Thanks for being with me.